Expanding.
Yeah. So the reason for us to present our project first is because we actually come from a project that was scaled already, at least to a certain, it's still scaling. So it's like interesting maybe to present it and to give some background on it. And that's why we'll be speaking a little bit about ourselves, but not too much, I hope. So I'm André.
I'm Nádia.
And we're from Bicicultura, which is the co-op that runs the Lisbon bike bus, and actually other bike buses in other towns of Portugal, because we actually have scaled 2 other cities with our model of bike bus or bike train. This is just
call it a train.
It's a little provocation just to, is it a bus, is it a train? We call it bike trains in Portuguese. And the brand that we are using is Ciclo Express, which is the bike train to school. So it is a municipally funded bike train nowadays. So we can start. So it's fueled by a non-profit co-op. So we're a center of promotion, development, and innovative active mobility solutions. So we have several projects going on. The bike train is just one of them. So you can check our website if you want to know more about Bicicultura and our projects. So, regarding the Ciclo Express, the first one started in 2015 with 12 kids in a primary school in Lisbon. It was actually a parent-led bike bus, so it was a bottom-up initiative from the beginning. And it turned into a municipal program in 2019 after the scale of the bike bus that was volunteer-led and parent-led got to a certain point, was already going on the news and everything. The municipality came, okay, I think this is a good idea. Let's do a pilot, let's expand to 3 more schools, let's do 3 more routes. And they put some money into it, not a lot at the beginning, so it was still a mainly volunteer-based operation at this pilot stage of 3 lines. But the management got some money to implement and make procedures and run the bike bus and do insurance as well.
That means we're turning 10 this year, which is quite exciting.
Oh yeah, it's our 10-year anniversary of the bike bus. So over time, in the city, these are some of our routes that we are doing. Most of them go to more than 1 school per route, so we do multi-schools routes as well. And some schools get different routes coming from north, east, west, south. And in the country, we are, I don't know if you know Portugal, but so here is Lisbon. Then we have in Leiria, in Porto, Matosinhos, in Braga, another, and Almada and Palmela here. And we're currently trying to expand this year to even more municipalities going forward. So, key elements. The structure of the bike train is similar across cities. So we have a methodology and a way of doing this that we bring to the other cities, to the marshals and to the teams that we create within the new city. So we don't move every week around Portugal, so we do try to find which are the key elements within the city that can help us to implement this project. That's the starting point of the going into a new city. So we use trained and paid monitors or marshals. It's council funded, and the target that we aimed at is 4 to 9 years old, which are the primary school kids, preschool kids. We also do some kindergarten sometimes, it's possible. Kindergarten is preschool still? Yes. Okay. And secondary school and higher than primary school. We also sometimes have schools within that age, those ages, but it's not. With time, we found that the sweet spot for at least in our case, this is only like our experience, and we don't want to tell you how to do things. I should have said this from the beginning. We want to share and want to hear about what you have to tell us as well. Just straight out. So yeah, that's the target. We took some time to find this out, just to tell you. Not from the beginning. We knew that this was the main target, and this we got to this through analyzing attendance as well, motivation of kids and parents. So there are several factors that led us to believe that this is the right target for this
In
action.
general, it seems that from 9 years old onwards, it stops being cool. So they don't want to
Yeah.
join a group with high vis and all that.
We actually are running a pilot now for kids older than the primary school, but it's like a bike buddy scheme. So you get a marshal, very good person riding in the city. So the parents enroll the kid. Is more for, we call it third grade and secondary school. So it would be between like 10 to 18 years old. And this person does with the kid 4 trips, and then he does he trains him during the ride. Like, you need to watch out this part of this is where you need to watch out the most on your route from home to school. So it's very personalized, and then he gives a report to the parents, like saying, I think he's ready to go on his own. You can trust him. Yeah, so, and nobody wears vests, so he's just going to school with another
It's
person.
like a mentoring.
Yeah. Yeah.
A friend. There's no.
Probably saying all the things that the parents have already said to them when they were riding bikes, but it's a cool guy on a bike or a cool girl, and like, yeah, it works better. Yeah.
Is that a one-on-one?
It's one-on-one. It's also funded. So, yeah, and sometimes we need to say that, yeah, he's not ready yet, so he needs to work a little bit more on his riding skills or his awareness of what's around him. It's a pilot, it has been challenging as well, because, yeah, it's not easy sometimes to even get them to enroll into this, but yeah, it's going good. It's the second year, it's going better this year than the first. Yeah, but that's a detour.
Yeah.
Nádia.
Nice. So working, just to let you know, working with a very difficult country in general. Thinking about Lisbon or the other cities, it's quite dangerous, very bike friendly, to the sense that there aren't that many cyclopaths around. As you can see, people park on zebras on the pavement, so you then have to be creative. The roads are in a bad state in general, so that's one of our biggest obstacles, and that's mostly why it's so important to have these bike buses and why kids can cycle to school on their own.
So our mission, yeah, it would be to promote sustainable mobility to school. But also I would say that the second part of it, of the children autonomy and well-being, it grew. So at the beginning maybe we were looking at this more, this is just the way that they will go to school. Instead of going in the car, they will go. But with time we found that there's a lot of lessons to be learned within the bike bus, and a lot of analogies that you can make, and self-development of the kid that you can make with them. Our bus run, so you can enroll your kid and the parent doesn't need to go. So that's a difference from the volunteer
And we do
base.
have lots of bike buses, well, I'm going to say bike trains
Yeah.
this session, where there are no parents joining at all. That's
Yeah.
quite common, even when kids are quite small, preschoolers, and that's quite common, and we're quite proud of it. Even though we found it a bit strange at the beginning.
So this is a nice slide, volunteer versus paid. So we moved from one model to the other. So we were volunteer based 100%. Then we were like hybrid, like some people in management were getting paid and the marshals weren't. Then some marshals were, so we got that experience as well. And then now we just do it with. Doesn't mean that the parents they can accompany the bike train, but they don't have any responsibility within the bike train. So we wouldn't need that adult to do the. If he wouldn't go, we would do it with his kid as well. Okay, so he's just invited to come. So he can enjoy and relax. He doesn't need to do corks or do anything. So national volunteer rate had only 6% below the European average of 24. So that this is an issue in Portugal.
26th out of 28
Yeah.
countries.
And some reasons include no culture of volunteering, no education for volunteering, time constraints, economic pressure. I would say should be on top of all those factors. Yeah, and fear of commitment. So, but I think the advantage that I would say with a paid marshal is that you get a degree of commitment that you can get from a volunteer, of course, but it comes at a price sometimes. And commitment is everything in this project where the parents are handling their kids to you. So there can't be a day that the parent is there to give the kid and no one arrives because something happened and got in the way. Oh, but I'm just a volunteer, so why are you stressing me out? I don't know.
Yeah.
This is, we skipped all those parts. Of course, our paid people, most of them would be volunteers if it was a volunteer-based program. So
And
this
we
is
have
like,
one on the photo with us here.
yeah, Jorge is here. Is actually he's a paid, but he would for sure be volunteer if it was like that. So it's just an extra bonus. No paid marshal is living off the bike bus, so it's just a gig that is doing.
Yeah.
But it kind of dignifies the task,
Sure.
which is also something that we should think about.
Yeah.
And not be afraid to speak about money, about that's our vision in terms of this project.
Who is 27 and 28, just out of
I
interest?
was going to
Who's
say,
missing, yeah?
It's not 26. The countries.
Yes.
Yes, I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'm just intrigued.
Okay.
Or else what? It would go down the average, you would say?
I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Bulgaria and another country that you said.
Romania,
was
maybe,
in
or
Europe,
somewhere.
something like
Yeah,
that.
okay. Yeah.
It's quite far from Portugal.
It's just like
We'll
it.
see. I'm going to show
So
you.
can we show you a video?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this both ways, to and from school?
Great question.
Yeah.
So we have experience with both models. So home to school and school to home at the end of the day. We're currently mainly doing just school trip in Lisbon, in other cities sometimes. But what we found is that because if we do the comeback, it's another. So we always our cost is per ride, right? Because I need to pay the marshals per ride. So it's another school that I won't be able to do because I have a budget. We have a budget constraint. So that is one thing. And then to find the agreement between families about the leaving time at school, at least in Portugal, so that they need to be at school at 9. They all need to do that, right? But to leave, they can leave between 5 and 7. And all the families have different routines and maybe they have activities after school. So it wasn't so uniform, the way they were leaving. So it was easier to do just the trip.
The bike bus that I run, I do just one way to school. My main reason for asking about it was the funding side of it, and if you were the man in the picture, you might know, is how does that work on a personal point of view? So how much time does it take in the morning, and you're only getting paid for that, presumably, for that time in the morning, so you need to have a job that's either flexible or takes that into account.
Yeah, I think it's flexible because in the end, it's usually you have to deliver the kids before your work schedule starts. So if you can just enter 10 minutes later, it will be enough. Because we have to be there at 9, and they enter at 9. Then if you leave at 9, it takes you 15 minutes,
But
or more or less to.
Have no illusion. this is a bubble of privilege. So
Yes.
okay,
I get it.
let's
Yeah.
say it out in the open.
Yeah.
And when it's volunteer based, it's even more. Because when you put the money aspect into it, maybe some people would consider to do this that they wouldn't in their normal life. So this room is an example of this privilege for many reasons that I can see with my eyes. But you kind of need to own it and work in a way to make it more inclusive in the future. But yeah, someone that needs to be at the desk by 9
Yeah.
would never be able to be a marshal in a bike bus that arrives at school at 8:50 or 8:55.
Unless it's
Yeah,
8:30,
some-
because
yeah.
if you can.
We do
some
have
schools-
different shifts
Yeah, right.
sometimes.
Yeah.
There are schools that
They are
start
earlier,
earlier,
yeah.
and some-
If it's
some-
at 8:30, then it would be feasible.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to be sharp at 9.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we were saying, that in a lot of areas where I work, that it's very sort of, we call it a blue collar job, you know, it's shift work in factories, and
Yeah.
there's the times that the workers work are very strict, there's no, you couldn't, you know, start, and I have that flexibility, but in a lot of areas that we want to implement it.
But I will bring
Families
another
don't
factor in,
have that.
which is to be more inclusive to parents that are in that situation, that would never be able to go in the bike bus with a parent accompany a model that the parent needs to go. You are being more inclusive if you have paid
Yeah.
marshals that take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
The parent just needs to be at the stop, and then he goes to his job. Right?
Yeah.
So in terms of marshals, I would see that it's like most of it flexible job people, self-employed, self-employed and liberal professionals, I would say. So this sort of freaky
Yeah.
people that we see here, crazy
I
bike
was
bus.
just saying, I'd also say though, if you're dropping your kids off at 10 to 9 in a car, there aren't many places, if you've only got 10 minutes to get to your desk by 9 o'clock,
You won't do it.
whether you're in a car or walking or on a bike isn't going to make a huge amount of difference. So
Right.
people are obviously, you know, building their, a lot of people that do drive probably could go along with their kids on a bike bus, because in terms of timing, because if they can drop them off in a car there at 8:50, they can sure do that walking or on a bike, because you know, in traffic you're probably going to get, if you're going to be at your desk in 10 minutes,
Yeah.
you probably do it quicker on a bike anyway. If you know, work up there, but yeah.
Well, this video, well, it has an English.
Sorry, can I just, I just wanted to actually say before you play the video, I love that still because there's such a beautiful contrast between
McDonald's.
kids healthily cycling along and the McDonald's advert in the background. That's a really good
Just the
contrast.
thumbnail,
I
Yeah.
just noticed that.
Just one question before the video. Do you know how much is the cost of the program for the city council?
I do know. I have to fight for it every year with the city council. So it will depend on the scale of the bike bus, the project. So
The duration, the
The-
number of schools.
yeah.
So
if
right
it's like
now
for a
it's-
school year, for
units.
less budget that we got approved was from January to this June, the end of
Yeah.
June. So the 6 months of
Yeah.
2025, and it's I don't want to be wrong, but I think it's 125,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
So
half a year.
yeah, but for running, we'll do 40 lines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 40 bike buses for 6 months for 125.
Is that an everyday?
No, once
No,
a
no,
week.
just once a week, and it has some restrictions on. That's what we plan for a limit of people to join, because obviously we have a ratio of monitors.
And it's doing some concessions, finding some ways to be creative with resources in a way to have a core team that is like doing some work for all the bike buses in the country, although they are different contracts, so trying to be efficient in that way. So this has an aspect of like IT management and tools that is very strong, and it's a lot of work. It wouldn't make sense to have each contract have their own tools or their own platform. So it has been, the hardest part of it is not knowing if we'll have project next year. So even that is a bubble of privilege, because who will you find to work at the
Crazy
job?
enough to have a job like that.
Yeah, who is full time doing management, but you don't know if you will have it in 6 months. Just a person that probably doesn't need the money from the beginning. Not everyone needs the money, but can manage in a way
Yeah.
or something. So,
It's nice for as long as it lasts, and then, you know.
but I think it's as long as you admit it and you try to work towards getting it more stable, so it can bring more people. There's nothing wrong with having the people that appear to work a lot.
Okay.
Yeah,
So the video has subtitles because it's in Portuguese.
it's in Portuguese.
Sorry.
Subtitles in
But they're
English.
not. They're not.